And, business owners are fed up. And, quite frankly, it's having a ripple effect now on everybody. I mean, people can't afford fast food when, it should not be a luxury item. Fast food isn't a luxury item.
Good morning to you, Lindsay. Yeah, I am hearing from customers every day who say they are already feeling that sticker shock. Restaurants have been warning about this since September when California voted to increase large fast food chains' minimum wage by 25% from $16 to $20 an hour. In that time, restaurants in the state have increased prices by 10% faster.
In the once bustling streets of California, a storm is brewing in the fast food industry, leaving a trail of shuttered restaurants and shattered dreams in its wake, as the Golden State's progressive lawmakers are implementing a staggering $20 per hour minimum wage. The very fabric of the restaurant industry is being torn apart, with beloved chains and local eateries alike struggling to keep their doors open in the face of skyrocketing labor costs. The ramifications of this seismic shift are reverberating far beyond the confines of the kitchen, threatening to upend the livelihoods of countless workers and forever alter the culinary landscape of California. The numbers paint a grim picture of the unfolding crisis. Since 2019, fast food prices nationwide have increased by 41%, which is leading many consumers to now view fast food as a luxury rather than, in its traditional role in household budgets, an affordable and quick meal. However, since the law took effect, fast food prices rose 10% in the first month, but there is of course a limit to how much prices can rise before they significantly affect consumer demand. The Taco Bell franchise has been a recurring name in discussions about the rising costs of fast food and the recent increase in the minimum wage in California. Over the years, the prices of Taco Bell's popular menu items have significantly increased, compounded by an 81% inflationary rate increase since 2014. The restaurant's highest increase can be noticed in the beefy 5-layer burrito, the price of which spiked 132% from $1.59 in 2014 to $3.69 now. These price increases are not isolated incidents. Due to the recent minimum wage increase, Taco Bell prices have further shot up by 3%, and many job cuts are starting to ensue. The impact of these price hikes extends beyond just the consumer's wallet. The fast food industry is also facing significant employment challenges. Many franchises, including Taco Bell, have been forced to cut jobs and employee hours due to rising operational costs and the economic fallout from the minimum wage increase. There could be warning signs of potential layoffs. At Taco Bell, 22% of employees regularly feel insecure, and 30% have stated that they once took a pay cut to keep their jobs. 10% have identified instability at Taco Bell as a potential reason for leaving. These alarming statistics underscore the despair and uncertainty gripping the industry as restaurateurs grapple with the impossible choice between raising prices, cutting staff, or shutting down altogether. In this video, we will delve into the profound impact of California's new minimum wage law on the fast food industry. We will examine the struggles faced by restaurants such as Taco Bell as they attempt to navigate the financial strain imposed by rising labor costs. One of the rudimentary principles of economics is that if the cost of something goes up, people will buy less of it. Californians are now learning the hard way that this principle applies to labor just as much as it does to any other good or service. Enacted on the 1st of April, a new California law designed by Democratic Governor Gavin Newsom last September made it mandatory for fast food chains to pay their employees at least $20 per hour. Fast food workers in California now have one of the highest minimum wages in the country after the wage was increased, despite having already one of the highest, $15.50 per hour, in the United States before the law took effect. The roots of this crisis can be traced back to when California Governor Gavin Newsom signed into law a bill that would raise the state's minimum wage to $20 per hour. The move was hailed by progressive activists as a triumph for workers' rights, but for many in the restaurant industry, it was a death knell. The impact is being felt across the industry, from fast food giants to family-owned diners. In a 2023 survey by the National Restaurant Association, a staggering 78% of California's fast food operators reported that they are likely to cut employee hours, while 63% said they plan to slash staffing levels in response to the wage hike. These drastic measures underscore the severity of the crisis, as even the most iconic brands struggle to adapt to the new reality. The problem lies in the razor-thin profit margins that define the fast fast food business model. With labor costs already accounting for a significant portion of their expenses, many restaurants simply cannot absorb the additional burden of a 50% wage hike without making drastic changes to their operations. For some, that has meant embracing automation and self-service kiosks, replacing human workers with machines in a desperate bid to cut costs. Others have been forced to raise prices, passing the burden on to consumers who are already struggling to make ends meet in the face of soaring inflation and stagnant wages. A 2018 study by the Harvard Business School found that a $1 increase in the minimum wage leads to a 14% increase in the likelihood of a 3.5-star restaurant closing, which is the median rating on Yelp. But for many restaurants, particularly those in low-income neighborhoods and communities of color, the only option has been to close their doors for good. A 2023 report by the Brookings Institution found that nearly 40% of small businesses in majority-minority neighborhoods have closed permanently since the start of the COVID-19 pandemic, a trend that is only likely to accelerate as the minimum wage hike takes effect. The irony is tragic and bitter. In the name of helping the most vulnerable workers, progressive policymakers have instead put their livelihoods at risk and left them with fewer job opportunities than ever before. The fallout from this misguided policy is being felt across the state, but perhaps nowhere more acutely than in the fast food industry. Chains like Taco Bell, which have been a long staple of the California culinary scene, are now finding themselves in the crosshairs of the minimum wage debate. This month, Rubio's Coastal Grill filed for bankruptcy after closing 48 of its California locations. While Rubio's has faced broader financial struggles for several years, the company cited significant increases to the minimum wage in California among the reasons for its decision. The move follows months of reports of layoffs in the state's fast food industry leading up to the April 1 effective date of the government-mandated wage hike. Last December, 2 of the major Pizza Hut franchisees in the state announced they were eliminating delivery service and laying off thousands of drivers. Rubio's Coastal Grill, a California Mexican restaurant chain, announced the closure of 48 restaurants in the Golden State amid rising business costs. The Los Angeles Times reported that the chain decided to shutter nearly one-third of its restaurants, allowing a review of its operations and the current business climate. The decision comes 2 months after California implemented a $20 minimum wage for fast food employees. Other restaurant chains have struggled in the state amid wage hikes, inflation, and other negative factors that have compounded since the COVID-19 pandemic. Last month, the seafood restaurant chain Red Lobster announced that it would auction off over 50 locations nationwide. California and Florida lost the most locations, 5 each. Taco Bell in particular has become a poster child for the unintended consequences of the wage hike. The chain, which has long prided itself on offering affordable, quick-service meals to budget-conscious consumers, is now grappling with the reality of significantly higher labor costs. In response, some Taco Bell franchisees have been forced to take drastic measures, including cutting staff hours, reducing menu offerings, and even closing locations altogether. A 2024 CNN report found that multiple Taco Bell locations in Oakland have closed their dining rooms because of safety concerns in California, which has been struggling with rising crime affecting business both big and small, a trend that is only likely to accelerate as the minimum wage hike takes effect. The result has been a wave of anger and frustration among the chain's loyal customers who have taken to social media to vent their outrage at what they see as a betrayal of the brand's core values. On Twitter, the hashtag RIP Taco Bell has been trending for weeks, with disgruntled fans sharing photos of shuttered storefronts and lamenting the loss of their favorite late-night snack. But as the shrinkflation continues, with portion sizes shrinking even as prices rise, many are wondering how much longer Taco Bell can continue to serve its core customer base. According to a 2023 report by the investment firm Cowen & Company, the average price of a Taco Bell meal has risen by nearly 20% since the start of the pandemic, a trend that is only likely to accelerate as labor costs continue to rise. The Taco Bell story is just one example of the broader crisis facing the fast food industry in California. Across the state, chains like McDonald's, Burger King, and Wendy's are all grappling with the same impossible choice between raising prices, cutting staff, or shutting down altogether. All told, restaurants cut 9,500 jobs ahead of the wage hike, according to an April analysis from the Hoover Institution. That does not count those that have come in subsequent months after the new wage had fully kicked in. Meanwhile, the price of fast food has gone up. Wendy's by 8%, Chipotle by 7.5%, and Taco Bell by 3%. While the media like to portray fast food chains as major multinational corporations, the reality is that many locations are owned by franchisees that operate more like small businesses. In the face of this existential threat, an insidious trend is starting to take place as some chains are turning to automation as a possible solution. McDonald's, for example, has been quietly testing self-service kiosks and mobile ordering apps in select locations, hoping to reduce labor costs without sacrificing quality or speed of service. According to a 2023 report, nearly 80% of fast food chains are planning to invest in automation technology in the coming years, a trend that is only likely to accelerate as labor costs continue to rise. But even automation is no panacea for the industry's woes. The upfront costs of installing and maintaining these systems can be prohibitive, particularly for smaller franchisees operating on thin profit margins. And while machines may be able to take orders and process payments, they cannot replace the human touch that is so essential to the fast food experience. Moreover, the push for automation raises troubling questions about the future of work in the fast food industry. According to a recent report, 50% of restaurant and food service employees are minorities, compared to 41% of employees in the U.S. employed in the labor force. 26% of restaurant and food service employees are Hispanic, 12% are Black or African American, and 7% are Asian. If machines can do the job of human workers, what will happen to these vulnerable populations who rely on fast food jobs to make ends meet? These are not abstract questions, but urgent matters of public policy that will have profound implications for the future of California and the nation as a whole. As the minimum wage debate rages on, policymakers and industry leaders alike must grapple with the unintended consequences of their actions and work to find solutions that balance the needs of workers, businesses, and consumers. However, finding that balance will not be easy, particularly in a political climate that is increasingly polarized and divisive. Progressive activists, buoyed by their success in passing the minimum wage hike, are already pushing for even more aggressive measures, including a statewide ban on at-will employment and a universal basic income. According to a 2023 report by the Center for American Progress, nearly 60% of California voters support a universal basic income, a trend that is only likely to accelerate as the economic fallout from the minimum wage hike continues to mount. Meanwhile, business groups and free market advocates are warning of the dangers of unchecked government intervention in the economy, arguing that such policies will only serve to stifle innovation, reduce job growth, and drive up prices for consumers. A survey report found that 45% of small business owners in California oppose the minimum wage hike, citing concerns about rising labor costs and reduced profitability. At the heart of this debate is a fundamental question about the role of government in the economy. Should policymakers be in the business of setting wages and dictating business practices, or should they focus on creating an environment that allows businesses to thrive and workers to succeed on their own merits? As the fast food industry in California continues to grapple with the fallout from the minimum wage hike, the future remains uncertain and fraught with peril for American businesses and workers. The coming years will no doubt be a test of the nation's collective will and wisdom as the country navigates the treacherous waters of economic upheaval and social unrest. If you like this video, hit the like button and help us spread the word. And don't forget to subscribe to get notifications on our latest news and analysis. In the meantime, check out one of these videos here to learn more. Thanks for watching.